Week 11 of the USL Championship takes us to Audi Field in our nation's capital, where Loudoun United FC will take on Hartford Athletic, a pair of expansion teams this season. And the National Conference Center, home of Loudoun United FC, is a corporate training facility in Leesburg, Virginia, hosting over 14,000 individuals per month and comprising of 265,000 square feet of meeting space. Hello, everybody. Alongside former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, Spencer Siegel with you. We take a look at Loudoun first. Gary, a 3-1 win against Charlotte Independence. They're off to a strong start.
Strong start. Look at the strike here from Connor Presley. Absolutely brilliant. And that helped them to a fantastic victory, as you say, against Charlotte Independence by 3-1. Here's another one of the goals. This is Noah Pilato with a shot that gets a bit of a deflection, and Cardona added the third. So a good victory there for Loudoun United.
As for Hartford, no wins yet in league play. 0 wins, 9 losses, 1 draw. But they did pick up their first win in franchise history in this week's US Open Cup match against New York Cosmos.
Yeah, Harry Schwartz with the opening goal there. Fantastic little turn and whips it in at the near side post. And then Jorgensen from a free kick gives them the second goal, which you'll see in a moment. And that was enough to beat New York Cosmos. There it is, nipped in also at the near post, catches the keeper unaware, and they're through to the next round of the US Open Cup.
2-1 win. Both sides now looking for an opportunity to strike. Hartford looking for their first win. We'll have much more on the pregame here on ESPN+. Just about ready for kick here at Audi Field in our nation's capital. We'll take a look at the lineups for you for both of these sides, starting with Loudoun United. 2 changes, Gary, one of them coming at the keeper position. Earl Edwards Jr. takes over there, and looking at what should be a 4-4-2 for them.
Yeah, Edwards for Brown, as you mentioned, in goals, and then Cardona for Bustamante. Of course, Cardona scoring one of the goals against Charlotte Independence, and he slots into that midfield. Up front, Sinclair and Murphy both scoring goals. Sinclair with 2, Murphy with 3, so they'll be the players that Loudoun look to get the breakthrough today.
Yeah, Connor Presley had that rocker of a goal last week. As for Hartford, a few more changes, 5 to be exact. And they're looking at a 4-4-2 with Angulo and Wojciech up top.
Yeah, those are 2 of the players coming in. Jorgensen's in, Karinga and Linga. So it's 5 changes. And yeah, they're hoping that any changes will result in a victory in the USL Championship. And after a win in the US Open Cup, they're hoping that the good luck and good results continue.
You get a look at Loudoun United in the black. They'll be sporting the black jerseys. Hartford in the whites today. Jimmy Nielsen, the Danish head coach, manager of Hartford Athletic, called out his players after their loss to Memphis 901 last week. He said 99 times out of 100, when we don't perform, I'll take the responsibility, but I'm not doing that today. This is 100% on the players. And he talked about the steps that they took backwards, but he said that they rebounded a little bit in the U.S. Open Cup win.
Yep, they certainly did, but they're going to have to rebound a lot more in the USL Championship. They haven't got a single win, lost 8 of the last 8.
Now, Ortho Virginia's injury report. We take a look. Loudoun, nothing to report. As for Hartford, Philip Rasmussen, who's been a mainstay in the midfield, and Tyler David both out today. It'll be Hartford standing over the ball to start things off. We're at Audi Field, and that's a rare sight for Loudoun United. Both of these teams have started, for the most part, on the road. First 6 games for Loudoun this season were on the road, but now they get a chance to perform in their parent club's home venue. Are underway.
Not the best of starts there, is it? Knock the ball down the line and it goes straight out of touch. But a feeling in process. What a wonderful stadium to be playing in. And while there might not be a lot of fans there certainly is a great atmosphere when you get to play on that sort of grass and that environment.
Early foul to start things off. We'll keep things with Loudoun. What do they need to do today, playing on their home turf, getting a rare opportunity early in the season? They don't open up at their real home stadium until August.
Well, they've got to just keep playing well. It's only 1 loss from the last 4. They've turned things around. Loudoun, they're looking better. And in fact, a win today takes them into 10th and into the playoff position. So, and up against Hartford, with all due respect, they've had such a bad start that Loudoun will be assuming and expecting perhaps to win this game. For Hartford, well, let's get your first victory. Something's got to give. You've got to turn it around somehow. The manager's made changes. It's up to the players to get that first win in the USL Championship.
Well, here's a turnover that nearly fell at the feet of Andrew Loudoun. Jacob Lissick, the goalie for Hartford, whips it out. Now at the top. And a giveaway that turns it back over. Looking for Loudoun down the far side. He runs it down. It is last deflected off of Loudoun. It'll stay with Hartford.
Good pressure there from Loudoun, and in particular from Loudoun, just sort of boxing Hartford in their own half. Look at the black shirts, closing in, making it difficult. And the Hartford coach, Jimmy Nielsen, saying that they've been punished for trying to play out the back. I guess that's why Loudoun are putting pressure on them, see if they can nick the ball somewhere near the box and get a shot on goal.
Through the back, Colin Verfurth looking for Peebo Dewey, but his pass intended for Dewey too far. Harry Swartz. Jack Villatoro. This is Sem de Wit. Defender from Netherlands. Hartford, in the early stages of this season, Coach Nielsen talked about wanting them to build from the back, and a couple of early turnovers in games cost them at times.
Yeah, you have to be careful playing out the back. If you get pressed too much, then you have to go long. If you try and get too clever, you can be dispossessed. And we'll see how they manage it in this team. It's just a careful balance. Well, that was a hard clash of legs. Referee saying it was a free kick.
That's Iaxon Savaria, who was clipped up. Take another look. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, there's a clash. They're both going for the ball. Nothing nasty in it, but he just gets there ahead, does Iaxon, and clashes with the legs, but gets the free kick.
So for Hartford, who started their first 8 games on the road this season, they finally had a chance to play a couple at home. This is their first road matchup since playing 2 in a row at home. They were able to scrounge across a point in their home opener against Charlotte Independence.
That's the only point they have to their name so far, and it's been a very tough start to the season for Hartford, and they're going to have to turn it around one way or another. And it's up to the players, along with the manager, to find a combination, to find a style of play. Is it the sort of 4-2-3-1 they put up? Does it morph into a 4-3-3? What is it that's going to give them these first 3 points and see them start to climb up the table?
Well, Coach Nielsen spoke about starting on the road the way that they did. He said it's been brutal. Hopefully this might benefit us in the future. They had a lot of difficult competition. This is a foul that'll keep the ball with Loudoun, or with Hartford, I beg your pardon. 8 games on the road, including Louisville City, Atlanta United 2, Indy 11, Tampa Bay Rowdies, New York Red Bulls 2. I mean, it's just a gauntlet.
Yeah, hasn't been easy for them, no question about that. But what's been and done is over. Now they have to look forward and say, hey, you know, a result here today, build on that US Open Cup win, and Hartford can start to climb the table. For Loudoun, you have a different view. You'd look at this team and say, hey, this is a team that's been thumped game after game. We must just add to their misery and get ourselves up that table into the playoff place.
Savaria to take the throw. And twice bumped out of play, that time by Kyle Karinga. This is one way to move the ball up the pitch. Karinga bats it clear. DeVitt leaves it for his goalkeeper, Jacob Lisek.
You see the pressure being put there by the Loudoun strikers, closing down. As Hartford get the ball, they challenge them, they make it difficult for them to play out. And they're sort of boxed in their own half a little bit here at the moment, Hartford.
Foul before Pilato got rid of it. Loudoun happy to work the left side early on. They've really been trying to figure out what formation works best for them as well. These are 2 expansion teams that are in the process of figuring out what their identity is.
That's not an easy process, and it takes time, and players have to knit together, and the manager and his staff have to understand the players. So one has to be cognizant of that and give them time and be patient. But it's amazing that in the Western Conference, the top team is an expansion team in New Mexico. So it shows you that you can put it together quickly. Obviously, if you have the resources and the players, it does help.
And 2 different types of expansion teams as well, as this one's deflected out for a corner kick. With Loudoun being an affiliate of DC United, they get a mix of academy players, they get a mix of guys who are coming down from the MLS club, and then of course just standard signings. As for Hartford, they're building this from scratch with no affiliate to work with.
Yeah, sometimes affiliates make it more difficult because you have to play the younger players and blood them. And sometimes you get some great youngsters that come down and help you win games. So it can work both ways.
Presley, after taking it short, whips it in nicely. It's dealt with, though, by Hartford. Kept in by Dewey. Pilato works it to the far side. Orlando Sinclair lays it off in the box, and it's won back by Hartford. Not much room to operate for Jose Angulo, the first time we've called his name today.
Hartford losing the ball. They can't get out of their own half. They're being boxed in. They're being closed down by Loudoun. And they lose possession a little bit too easily. And they certainly won't be able to sustain that. If you don't have the ball, you are going to concede goals at some stage. So Loudoun putting them under pressure. Hartford now with the task of trying to get the ball back and keep the ball when they do get it.
Dewey works it back along the right side. Villatoro. Back for the goalkeeper, Edwards, who is contracted by DC United. Gets an opportunity to play at the stadium where he'd hoped to play more consistently.
Look at that pressurizing and a turnover of possession.
Here's Presley. Presley on his left, and it's knocked down by Lisek.
comfortable save by the goalkeeper in the end, but Presley, we saw what a wonderful goal he scored last time out against Charlotte Independence. Absolute screamer. So no reason why he shouldn't have a dip whenever he gets a chance there, but that effort straight at the keeper, Lisek, and he just gathers it quite comfortably.
Decent amount of pace. It did look a lot like the goal that we saw in the pregame that he scored against Charlotte Independence. Spent 2 seasons at San Antonio FC. Made 29 appearances with them. Now here's Hartford on the front foot. It's punched away by Edwards. And Loudoun weaves to the outside.
That was better by Hartford, getting down the flank, but now there's a counter-attack on.
This is Orlando Sinclair. He needs help. He's got Loudoun, lays it off for him. Loudoun to the middle, and it's knocked away. The race to the ball still won by Loudoun. Sinclair sends it back to Savaria, and they work it around the back to Dewey.
We had a little example there of Hartford attacking down the left-hand side. They pushed some bodies forward, and when they lost possession, the counter-attack was on, and it nearly caused Hartford problems. So this is the difficulty they have when they push forward. How many players they can afford to push up and take a risk and leave gaps at the back.
Sinclair happy to fade back. Colin Verfurth along the right side. Now Villatoro. Kept in by Codono. Presley gets his cross in. It's a good one, and it's dealt with by Karinga, who then goes down and will stop play for an apparent head injury.
He got a little bit bump on the back of the head as this ball comes in. Have a look. It's a nice ball in from Connor Presley, and as he goes to clear it, there's a little bump on the back of the head from Loudoun as he was turning his body. Nothing too serious, I don't think. He should be up and able to play.
Well, we play on a grass pitch here at Audi Field, so you can certainly rub some dirt in it. It's a hot one today. It might say 83 degrees on the thermometer, but 93 degrees is our heat index today.
Wow. It is hot, and it involves letting the ball do as much of the work as possible, passing it and not having to chase too much.
I've seen Hartford make one run. They've yet to score more than 1 goal in a league match so far this season. They have 6 goals in their 10 matches. They've conceded 25.
That's a very poor stat. There's no way we can sweet talk, sugarcoat that for Hartford fans. 6 goals in 10 is shocking, and 25 conceded is shocking. So from both points of view, vast improvement is needed from this Hartford side. But there's a little glimmer of hope with that US Open Cup win, with the 1 draw they got in the last couple of games. So are they beginning to turn the corner? Their fans will certainly hope so. And they do have a home run coming up. I think 4 of the next 5 are at home, so maybe they can still turn it around.
This was better from them, their first corner. Mads Jorgensen, Danish midfielder, to take it, swings it out, low ball, dealt with, and now a possibility for a counterattack. Presley will run up the left side. He's got options to his right. Sinclair running with him. Presley deciding to take it on himself. And a good job getting back defensively from Hartford Athletic.
Yeah, that was a good run by Connor Presley. They went straight at the heart of the defense and was just looking for the right ball to lay off. Didn't quite happen for him, but once again, the danger for Hartford is when they attack, they leave themselves vulnerable to the counter-attack. It's like a boxer. Do you take the risk of throwing a punch if you're going to get a punch back? Maybe you just defend. Difficult one for Hartford.
Still looking for their first shot. Working it towards the middle. Sinclair can't handle it. Jorgensen wins it back for Hartford. More space. This game wide open as we start play early on. Low ball in. Dewey wins it. Cadono will axe that one out of play, and it stays with Hartford.
Oh, a chance for Hartford to put a little bit of pressure on now. They've got a throw in. They can build something, try and get a ball into the box and put Earl Edwards under some pressure in goals.
Got to look at Richie Williams, the manager for Loudoun United. He's had a storied coaching career to this point, one that's really still in the middle stages. Where he might be headed next, we're of course unsure. He played for DC United under Bruce Arena. Also a United States men's national team assistant coach under him as well. And Arena, of course, just named the New England Revolution manager this past week.
Yeah. Well, that's a good job to get if you can go and work with Bruce. He's been hugely successful wherever he's gone in club football. He did that one sort of very sad exit with the USA recently, but even before that he was very successful with the men's national team. So yeah, wherever Bruce Arena goes, success seems to follow.
15 minutes into this one, it's been, for the most part, Loudoun controlling the pace of play. Up along the right side, Pilato looking for an opening. Hartford organized defense to this point.
Yep, every single one of those Hartford players in their own half, defending as best they can. Numbers around the ball, trying to deny Loudoun any space. Look at this, the entire match is being played virtually in the Hartford half.
And a reminder that Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. What can get Hartford over the edge in terms of into their own half?
I would play more long balls just to get you up the pitch, and you know, you get your strikers to chase them, and then you box Loudoun in their half of the pitch. But yeah, some managers prefer to defend deep and deny space, because the danger in pushing forward is you can have the counter attack. So it's a little bit like chess sometimes from a manager's point of view, and especially if you're Hartford and you've only got the 1 point from 10 games and your stats are really, really poor. You're just trying to keep it at 0-0. I think you'll be happy with that as a manager. Doesn't look good to the eye, because they're stuck in their half, as you can see, just very unadventurous. But when you've been losing that many games, I guess you'll see this as a positive, perhaps.
Now, points are points at the end of the day. They've got 1 in 10 matches.
That's 1 out of 30 points. It doesn't look good, does it? But they've got 4 the next 5 at home. They've just won their first game in the US Open Cup, and they've got a chance now.
This is much better along the left side, whipped in. It slipped past. Now again, as you mentioned, they have to be wary of the counterattack, and they do well to push back Sinclair.
I thought there's a nice little opportunity there down that left-hand side, but it came to nothing. And that's now twice down the left that Hartford have threatened a little bit. Maybe that's where they can get some joy here today.
This is Mads Jorgensen.
He's one of a number of Danish players that have been brought there by Jimmy Nielsen, the Danish coach.
2 of them working it back and forth now. Nikolai Linge. And the Dutchman, Sem de Wit. Here's that long ball.
Wow.
Perfectly placed. De Wit will have to try it again. Swartz up for Raymond Lee. This is Lee, who scored last week. That one just a bit too far. Intended for Wojciech Wojtek.
Yeah, final ball not good enough, but at least we're seeing Hartford come forward a bit more and try and play and try and be positive, and that'll please their coach, Jimmy Nielsen. You still need a good ball into the box, something that the forwards can work with, and that one was just overhit.
Well, as for Loudoun, and speaking with Richie Williams, he talked about the challenge of finding a team's identity when you don't know what type of roster you're working with week in and week out. It could be a completely different side. Now, granted, only 2 changes this week for them, including the goalkeeper being one of them. But you just never really know what you're getting on a week-to-week basis.
No, that's difficult, and he's been playing with a back 4 and a back 5, and it's not easy when you are changing personnel, but what I think he would have been pleased with the victory over Charlotte Independence is the effort and commitment from his team. The conditions were shocking. The pitch was waterlogged, yet they battled and they fought, and they come away with a fantastic 3-1 win.
Good one, too, from Presley to Sinclair, and it's kicked aside by Coringa. But Kyle Murphy, whose name we haven't called much, was in the area. That was Loudoun, I beg your pardon. Bebo Dewey sends it to the far side. Cadono back for Presley. With Lee hounding him, Presley gets a low cross in. Hartford has not let anything slip by to this point. Angulo has a run. And that was just a missed effort there.
I think it might have taken a deflection on the way. It seems they've given a corner. And Cadona, he scored a crucial goal last week. We're looking to do the same this time around. Let's have a look here.
It was Kyle Murphy with DeVitt, who had just slipped in the process.
And these set pieces, if you get enough balls in the box, from corners and free kicks, eventually something's going to drop for you. So let's see what happens here.
Last time Presley took it low. This time he whips it in, and it's over everybody's head. And that's a deep throw for Hartford.
That's a waste of a free kick there. Whether he hit that too long or whether the strikers didn't go further back to cover the deeper cross, I'm not sure. But either way, opportunity goes a-begging.
Now, despite for Loudoun starting 7 of their 9 games on the road, we've seen that they are capable of scoring goals in bunches. 3 goals last week in their win, and then 3 in the 3-3 draw at home to Bethlehem Steel in their first home match this season.
They've got 2 good goal scorers up front. In Kyle Murphy, he's got 3 from his 8 games, and Orlando Sinclair 2 from his 5. So if you've got strikers that can score goals, the likes of Cadona and Presley, who are good at long-range shooting in the middle of the park, and Loudoun, who's so quick out wide, that's a very, very good attack that Loudoun have, and that's why I expect to see them climb up into the playoff places fairly soon.
Harry Swartz has had a lot of space. Here he goes again. That's deflected out for a corner kick.
Harry Swartz, a lovely goal last week in the US Open Cup against New York Cosmos. Got it with his back to goal, turned and whipped it in just inside the post. And that was one of 2 goals that saw them through to the next round of the Open Cup. So that's got to give them a whole sense of positivity and belief that they can start to get themselves on a winning streak.
Jorgensen will swing it out. Headed clear, not fully. Whipped in, it falls, and it's loose before it's finally picked up by Edwards, but the flag was up.
Yeah, Would have been bad defending if he wasn't offside, but obviously the defenders knew that behind them the players were in offside position. Thought for a moment it had been a defensive lapse, but it wasn't. They seemed to have it under control, the Loudoun defense, and the goalkeeper, Earl Edwards, was very quick to respond anyway.
Fans follow Loudoun United and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home of the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. Loudoun, despite the fact that they've been comfortable in this game, it's been difficult for them to find chances. They haven't come up with very many opportunities on goal.
Yeah, nothing too much as yet, but they're dominating, which means that Hartford are chasing. It's always more tiring when you haven't got the ball because you're having to follow the ball, close players down. And that's, especially as you mentioned, the heat, that can start to tell in the last 10 or 15 minutes of a game.
This one whipped in, and again, there's a Hartford defender there. Lee couldn't get it clear. Sinclair goes to ground, and it's pulled away. Schwartz. Long ball looking for Schwartz along the right side. It's a race to this one, and look at Harry Schwartz get to the ball, and he couldn't hold on to it before he kicked it out of bounds. It's a goal kick, but an effort that's worth applauding.
Yeah, it was a great effort. I think by the time he got to the ball, he put in all the effort and maybe lost his balance a touch, but it's good for Hartford to try and find those outlets, and Harry Schwartz is a good option for them to play out and for them to try and get rid of some of the pressure they're under.
Pilato keeps it with Dewey. These two have worked in the back a lot more, despite the fact that Pilato is generally more of a midfield player. Here's a turnover and a chance with numbers. Wojcik and Jorgensen will send it back to Lee. They had a chance, and now once again they're playing in their opponent's half, or their own half.
It's better by Hartford now. They're just getting themselves back into the game ever so slightly. There was a good 10-15 minute spell where they hardly saw the ball. Now they're playing it around a lot more comfortable on the ball, looking to get attacks going. So I would think Coach Jimmy Nielsen will be relatively pleased with his first 26 or 7 minutes of the game as far as Hartford are concerned.
DeVitt up and back for Villatoro. Now Lee. Wojcik back for Lee. He's got a man inside. Angulo couldn't get to it. Punched away by Edwards. It's Kyle Karinga who tries to keep it in. Now he has to hustle back.
It was a good punch by the goalkeeper just to clear that danger, Earl Edwards.
Hartford starting to ask some questions.
Yeah, not too many, but some questions.
A few.
Yeah, but certainly it's still Loudoun who seem to be in control of this match, and there's a lot of leg work being done by the strikers up front for Hartford as they try and close down, and it's going to be some tired Hartford legs by the second half. Looking at Jose Angulo in particular, 31 years of age, here he is now trying to close down in the white shirt. It's a thankless job when you're just chasing the ball around.
Forcing Loudoun to make a play. Savaria pushes it along the left side. Loudoun looking for an opening. Ball stays in play. DeVitt wins it and gets it clear. Well done. Wojcik switches the field of play. Dahlgaard now Lee. Eamon Lee, long ball up top. Wojcik has to track it down. He'll get there. Schwartz can set it up. Paid off Vucic Wojcik. Just a slight bit of uncertainty once they're able to get into their opponent's half.
Yeah, they haven't got that cutting edge, have they? That incisiveness to try and find a gap through the defense, but give them time.
How about this, over the top, and too far for Angulo.
Yeah, not bad, good idea to try and hit Angulo, but it's going to be more accurate than that. I don't know if Angulo would have been offside or not, had he have touched the ball, but it's the right idea. And certainly Hartford don't look like a team who only have 1 point from 30 in the league. But as you said, they've had some tough matches away from home and up against the top sides in the division, so it hasn't been an easy start to the season for them.
Easy for Lisic. He pushes it forward. Half an hour into this one, we're still scoreless. Both teams on the outside of the playoff picture looking in, but there's so much time left in the season, even for a team like Hartford who's far behind. You go on a little bit of a run with the new playoff format in the USL this year. 10 of the 16 teams can work their way in. That's a foul. It'll stay with Hartford to what turns into a 20-team playoff.
Yeah, they've still got a lot of points, so for 10th place have 12 points. Hartford currently 1. So 11 points they have to find, more than any other team. So, yeah, as you say, if they go on a winning run, then absolutely they can climb up the table. I just don't see evidence that they're good enough to go on that winning run as yet. But if they score a goal here and they walk away with 3 points today, we might be thinking differently.
So our first card of the match on what was a challenge that might make you look twice. It's Villatoro who gets charged with the yellow.
Lunging in a little bit, always dangerous to lunge in, and referees will likely go to the cards if you do that. Now he's got to tread very carefully for the rest of the match. Doesn't want a second yellow because then he'll be off.
Jorgensen plays it in. DeWitt nearly got ahead to it, just over his outstretched neck, and it's a goal kick.
I think they're having a break now, perhaps a water break with this heat that you mentioned. But just looking at that free kick into the box, all the white shirts were in one group. Once it missed them, it missed them all. They need to spread out. One near post, one middle, one far post.
So with the temperature as we've described it, which is, it feels like 93 degrees. It certainly doesn't feel like May 19th. We'll take the first of 2 hydration breaks today. They come at the 30-minute mark of the first half and then the 30-minute mark after the beginning of the second half at the 75-minute mark, and then we'll add this time on at the end to stoppage time. So Gary, from the first 30 minutes that you've seen, obviously Loudoun might be pushing the pace a little bit more, but Hartford coming back with their opportunities. What needs to change for either side to get that breakthrough goal?
Well, it's a final ball, really, as far as Hartford are concerned. There's been a lot of balls knocked into the box that just haven't really come close to finding their man, and I think that's what Coach Jimmy Nielsen on the left-hand side is probably saying to them. Just take time, get a quality final ball. And for Loudoun, they've had more of the opportunities, more chances, more play. And I guess it's the same thing for them. They also need a good quality breakthrough. Ball, nice cross, whatever it needs. But you sense it's more likely to come from Loudoun from what I've seen so far.
Well, Jimmy Nielsen, who called out his players after the loss to Memphis, talked about how they responded in the U.S. Open Cup win over New York Cosmos, the NPSL team. After calling them out and saying, I'm sick and tired of saying how well we trained. People don't care what happens Monday through Friday. It's all about what happens on game day. And according to Coach Nielsen, he said they did respond against Cosmos. He was satisfied in the first half, and then we regressed in the second half, up 2-0. With luck, They perhaps could have gotten a third goal in that first half, and the Cosmos came back in a time where they needed to battle, and he called it an ugly win in the end.
You take any win when you're going through that tougher time that Hartford Athletic have been going through. You take absolutely any win. And he's right about one thing: no one cares what you do in training. Training is irrelevant to a fan. It's irrelevant to us following the game. We're only interested in what happens on the pitch.
So what would you have to tell yourself going back to your playing days when you were in training and getting yourself ready for a game? How did you approach those days?
I trained as best I could, as hard as I could, as often as I could, so that when I came to play, I was in peak condition. And but if there was a player in my team who didn't train but scored on the Saturday, it's his. I don't care as long as he scores. How he lives his life off the pitch is up to him. And your job is to do it on the pitch. Obviously, the better you look after yourself, the more likely you are to have a long career. But some players just turned up on the day and did the business. And if that's how it worked, long as they scored the goals or long as they played well on the day, then as a fellow player, I wasn't going to argue with that.
Right, nobody calls you out if you're not training and you perform on the game day, of course.
Exactly.
But then again, nobody gives you a pat on the back if you train really well and you show up on game day and you lay an egg.
100% correct. It's all about what you do in this 90 minutes.
Kept alive. Murphy getting his first good look here from the left side, looking for a cross. Finds Codono. Codono will have a crack, and that's over the crossbar.
I think he just slipped as he went to hit that ball, Codono. And having scored last time out, he's probably trying to replicate that. But let's have a look again. And yeah, Murphy doing really well. Holds it up, sees Codono. Have a look at his left foot there. Just slips. Maybe it's slightly wet on the turf. And with that, his direction went all over the place.
Uncharacteristic of Shinya Codono in the early stages of this season. 5 of his 6 shots entering play today had been on target.
Yeah, Mads Jorgensen getting a little bit of a lecture from the referee.
That's Eric Tattersall today. Lisek will let this one fall at his feet before he scoops it up. Lisek, the goalkeeper from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, he's yet to be tested today. As Hartford pushes forward, Edwards will try to keep this in, and he can, and that'll be a corner.
Well, they'll take that, Hartford, once again. Set piece, an opportunity to put the ball into a danger area. And let's see if the white shirts can spread themselves out so they cover all the possible trajectories of the ball coming in. They certainly are sending up enough white shirts. And again, it always begs the question, are you well organized for the counter-attack?
Jorgensen swings it in. Lingo got ahead to it, but you talk about that final ball or that final touch that needs to happen, and it just hasn't been there yet.
It hasn't been. It might still come in this match. But those high corners into the box, very difficult to get a clear header. You're going to be marked. It's easier if someone gets a flick on near post, and then it's pandemonium in the box because it's very difficult to mark players. So not the best corner when you just loop it high into the box.
Wojcik almost got a foot to it. Poor decision. A turnover. Here comes Hartford again. Angulo. Angulo out wide. Coringa. Back for DeWitt. Raymond Lee playing on the left side today. Here's Linga. Lee getting in a little bit deeper. Linga loses it. Loudoun calmly gets it clear.
I'm just watching Jose Angulo, the number 9. He was very deep in midfield, and just wonder if he needs to push up a little bit more often. If you're going to get a goal against Loudoun, can't just rely on Wojcik. Maybe Angulo's also been told to do lots of defensive work. It's the difficulty with Hartford. Do you throw more players forward in search of a goal? Do you keep them back to try and keep a clean sheet? Hard decisions.
Well, and certainly one wrong decision changes the course of the game. One goal in this game might be the difference. Jose Angulo is no stranger to this league. He's a 2013 USL MVP, won the Golden Boot with, at the time, it was then a record 23 goals in a season. Resides in Paterson, New Jersey by way of Columbia.
Well, if you score that many goals, I want to see you up front and not tracking back in midfield defending. And there is Angulo now in the middle of the pitch, so good to see him in a more striker's position.
Edwards looking to boot it deep. It's nestled down nicely by Loudoun. And a foul away from the ball. Hey fans, get updates. Or check that. Be sure to tune in on Wednesday, May 22nd for the ESPN USL Championship Game of the Week on ESPN News as league newcomers Birmingham Legion FC welcome Nashville SC. It's the week's best match on the Game of the Week, May 22nd at 8 Eastern on ESPN News.
A little bit of a late tackle there, free kick given. So as we're approaching half-time, Hartford will, I think, be very happy with this. Mind you, they won't be happy giving the ball away that easily.
Murphy is bumped.
See, it's Angulo back again in that deep defensive midfield position, and he's one of your main strikers. As we say, he's not going to score goals if he's always back defending.
And Murphy looking for a yellow card here on what was a fairly reckless challenge from Angulo.
Look how deep he is. He's almost deeper than some of the midfielders, Angulo. But it's still a clean sheet for Hartford going up to the half-time whistle, so I would guess they'll be happy with that.
Presley and Dewey stand over it. Might look to play this into the box. It's Presley to take it. He'll whip it wide. He's probably headed out for a goal kick. Instead, it's handled by DeWitt. Build-up has been steady from Loudoun. They try to work it into the box. They've been very comfortable moving it along the back line. Sent deep for Savaria. Whipped in. Hartford come away with it. Angulo just looking for help. Hartford would be content with this score at the half.
Yeah, absolutely.
With Loudoun?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. You're playing the team that's bottom of the table that's got 1 point from 30, and you're on your home ground. You would certainly be expecting to be ahead at this stage. They have looked the better of the two sides, Loudoun, I would think, in terms of creating opportunities and possession, but no, absolutely not. I think Richard Williams will be like, guys, we need to up this to a whole new level. We've got to get a breakthrough, we've got to get goals, and we've got to improve our performance.
Nice ball that landed at the feet of Dahlgaard, and a whip from distance nearly found its way into the back of the net. A quality effort, perhaps the best chance of the half from Nikolai Linga.
Oh, it's an effort anyway, and it was slightly off target. Have a look at it, just bending away from the goals. Keeper Earl Edwards has got it covered, but at least it's an effort, and it wasn't too far off.
Remember, we'll add on the hydration time here to stoppage time at the end. We're looking at about 3 or 4 minutes. And we might be adding on to that yet again. So it looks like that 50-50 aerial ball. Pilato might have been clipped. Orlando Sinclair.
Sinclair, yeah, you can see everyone's having a little sip of water. It shows you how hot it is out there and how important it is to hydrate for all the players. But certainly from a Loudoun point of view, I'm pretty sure Richard Williams will say, guys, you're taking this too easy. You think this is going to be a comfortable game playing the bottom side. You need to up your game. You need to treat this like you're playing the top team in the division, and you need to put in a whole bunch more effort, because it's not that they haven't played or that they've played badly, Loudoun, it's just they haven't played well. In that sort of middle ground that coaches look at and go, not good enough. And it's up to the coach to rattle their cage and get them all pumped up and ready for an improved second half.
Indeed, we're looking at 4 minutes. So still plenty of time for either side. Colin Martin hasn't touched the ball a whole lot. Here he is, plowing up the left side. And Swartz, had he been able to handle it, would have been offside anyway.
Important for Swartz. He's looking down the line. He can see where the defenders are. Shouldn't really get caught offside too often in that situation, because you can see exactly where that last black shirt is, and you can make sure you're not past it. So wasted opportunity there from Swartz.
Yeah, on a hot day like today, not sure why Loudoun chose black.
Isn't that the normal color? Yeah, they certainly are going to feel the heat. And hey, we're just starting summer. Wait till the June, July, August months come along.
Headed down nicely. Jorgensen. And now pushed up by Martin. Left side, options in the box, shot on target. And again, better from Hartford.
That's a decent effort there, cutting inside, and Sebastian Delgado and gets a shot there, and it's what you need to do. Yes, it hasn't caused Edwards too many problems, but it's positive, it's on target, you're making the goalkeeper work. It's something to build on, and that's good from Hartford.
Yet another turnover, but a whistle before that, I believe. The flag was up again, yeah. Here's the look by Dalgard.
Yeah, it's good, quick feet. Gets to the edge of the box, just takes it away from the defender and gets the shot on target. So it didn't give the keeper too many problems, but it's a decent effort.
Savaria, Codono. Now Sinclair amongst the trees. Back to Sinclair inside the box. Kept it under his feet. Presley with a nice move. Batted away by Swartz. That's a foul. A little too aggressive from Loudoun.
Yeah, good little moment there, and anything could have happened in those situations in the box. Just waiting for the ball to land at your feet, and you're hoping the pressure sort of gives you a lucky break. Didn't quite happen for Loudoun, and Hartford still got their clean sheet.
About a minute left in this first half. Both sides pressing now. Over the top, Murphy's got space, and he's got options. He'll take it on himself, and it's just wide.
Not a bad effort there from Kyle Murphy. Knew what he wanted to do to get it in that far post. Just sort of pulls it wide. Yeah, he's frustrated with himself. Injury on the far side of the pitch, but Kyle Murphy will know that if he got that right, he might have been able to just sneak it inside the post. But again, a good effort. We've seen a few shots in the last few minutes, so it seems that both sides have tried to be a little bit more direct on goal.
Be sure to stick with us for halftime. We'll have a look around the USL this weekend, as well as our Week 10 Team of the Week. Lisek boots it clear. Still a second opportunity. Murphy chasing it down, goes to ground, and commits the foul in the process.
Yeah, putting Nikolai Lunga under all sorts of pressure there, but Lunga managed to deal with it. There's some tired legs in that heat, and now time for a halftime break.
Time to go get some water, rehydrate, and we'll do the same thing. We'll be back shortly. Halftime here at Audi Field. We are scoreless between Loudoun United and Hartford Athletic. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back for the halftime report. Halftime at Audi Field. The hosts, Loudoun United and Hartford Athletic, scoreless to this point with 45 minutes and change to play. Of course, these are just two of the teams that are into their expansion year. It's a big year for the USL. We take a look at both of them first. First-year clubs, of course, Hartford off to a little bit of a tougher start. But for Loudoun United, they got a big win against New York Red Bulls too.
Yeah, for Loudoun, it's more promising, and they've got a chance, especially if they win today, to go into that playoff position. For Hartford, it's just been a really, really tough start. But you know what? That first match in club history, they won in the US Open Cup. And maybe, if they can get a draw, or even better today, they could start to turn their season around.
Momentum is a funny thing when you talk about the USL and this sport specifically. Of course, they're not the only two teams that are expansions this year, and well, of these teams, I would say the most impressive has been New Mexico United. They stand at the top of the table in the Western Conference. In fact, all of the Western teams playing well.
Yep, they all play very well in the West. They've lost one of only 13, or only lost one of 13, I should say, New Mexico United in Cup and League. So that's an unbelievable start to a first season. El Paso Locomotive, they're in 7th position, and Austin Bold in 8th. So yeah, in the West they've been fantastic. In the East for Memphis and Birmingham Legion, it's been a little bit tougher, but there's still positive signs and they can still make that top 10.
Still lots of time for these teams this season and lots of time left in this game. In the meantime, we take a look at what's happening around the rest of the USL in week 10 and 11.
Look at Taylor moving up.
And Taylor with a beautiful strike. Are you kidding? It's 1-0 in the 12th minute. What can you say about a center back who has... It's loud, and what a rip from Connor Presley. Oh, how's that for an equalizer?
And he decided just to reach his leg out there and see what he could do.
Now North Carolina with a chance. Now a shot by Miller! Stephen Miller with the strike inside the 18, ties this game up at 1 in the 66th minute. Fleming's early ball in. John on the first time! Oh, that is clinical from Adam John! Oh, look at Fleming's and Vaquero just toying with RGV. Breaking in, Kasim! Oh, what a save by Matt Pickens! Got a run from distance and hits a goal. Goes with the left and in. And what a save for Van Ogle. Here's a chance for Kasim who puts it in!
Rodriguez returning for Reynolds. His delivery through the penalty area will fall here, and Tessman! What a strike that is from Tanner Tessman, who's equalized for North Texas.
Sweet footwork. Gallardo, the attack and the blast and a goal!
One more go at it for Toronto, headed on and in. Beautiful strike there.
Shamani serves it towards the back post. Headed in the back of the net. It's a goal for Lansing Ignite.
Taking a look around the rest of the USL Championship, we had two teams last night two of the best teams in this league, take on one another. It was just one of a bunch of great matchups that we saw yesterday.
And the Rowdies coming out on top in that particular match, so they sit comfortably now at the head of the Eastern Conference.
And not only that, but the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup taking place earlier this week. A lot of USL teams advancing forward. And Gary, we take a look at the team of the week from week 10. Who stood out to you?
Oh, they all stood out in their own way. John up front, they're getting 2 goals in Phoenix Rising's win over RGV. And then Keys Veta for El Paso, 2 goals and a 3-1 over Sacramento. And in midfield, Jackson at Fresno, a goal and an assist in their away win against LA Galaxy 2. All the players, the defenders, goalkeeper, all having a fantastic week.
Over to the standings in the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship. Remember, it's the top 10 teams who make their way to the playoffs in each conference. Loudoun sitting at 9 points entering play today, only 3 back of the 10 spot. Hartford in last place in the East. They've got 1 point in 10 opportunities.
Well, Loudoun will go into 10th spot above Bethlehem Steel should they win this match today. And you can see lots of opportunity to get up there, and with 10 places, these are some of the big games coming up. Yeah,
plenty of opportunities to catch Wednesday night soccer. It's the premier event in the USL. You can catch them on ESPN News and ESPN3 respectively. Just a ton of great matchups throughout the course of this season, and they all come your way, all available to you on ESPN3 and ESPN News. And finally, we take a look at the USL scoreboard, a couple of finals from last night, and then later today, we've got Bethlehem Steel, Ottawa Fury, Swope Park Rangers, and Atlanta United 2.
Well, good matches coming up later today, but look at that one top right. Tampa Bay Rowdies 2 and New York Red Bulls 0, and that's the top 2 teams in the Eastern Division clashing there. And for Birmingham Legion, one of the expansion teams, held to a draw at home. And Charlotte Independence bouncing back on that 3-1 defeat by Loudoun to get a draw.
Yep, the Rowdies, the only undefeated team remaining in the league. When we come back, it's these two sides, Loudoun and Hartford, to start the second half in a scoreless battle. Getting ready to start the second half at Audi Field, Loudoun United, Hartford Athletic. And Gary Bailey, we take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. There weren't many opportunities, but we did have a few.
Did have a few, yeah. It was a tight match, mostly a midfield battle, but Connor Presley here having a shot that Lisek and goals comfortably dealt with. And Connor Presley scoring a wonder goal against Charlotte Independence. Couldn't quite repeat the effort there. He does put the ball into the box. Bit of a bumping of heads there, and nothing much from that. Loudoun's bump there. Then there's a chance here from outside the box by Cardona, and that just goes wide for a corner. And then at last, Hartford doing something, getting a ball in here. Keeper comes very well, Earl Edwards, and deals with it. Confident goalkeeping, punches it away from trouble. There's a couple of white shirts waiting for the ball. And this one played back. And again, it's an effort by Cardona. Just goes wide. Another effort. Lots of shots from out, far away, and just curling wide of the goal. So not too much for the goalkeepers to do. There was something. That was a shot from Delgado. Earl Edward making the save.
Take a look at the statistics from the first half. No goals, 5 shots for Loudoun, and the possession split pretty much right down the middle in the end.
Yeah, I think possession for Loudoun was more in Hartford's half of the pitch, but look at the shots on target. That normally gives you an indication of what's happening, and it's not much. Neither team, not Loudoun, not Hartford, have really put the goalkeeper, their opposing goalkeeper, under any pressure. They're going to really have to change it, especially for Loudoun at home and looking to get into the top 10. They need to raise their game big time second half.
The one yellow card charged to Jack Villatoro of Loudoun United. And a reminder, halftime brought to you by the National Conference Center, home of Loudoun United FC. It's a corporate training facility in Leesburg, Virginia, hosting 14,000 individuals per month and comprising of 2,600 square feet of meeting space. The National Conference Center contains 250 conference rooms, an athletic facility, commissary, and 917, not 18, guest rooms. As we get you ready for the second half, Gary Bailey, Spencer Siegel, happy to be with you today. What needs to change for either side other than that final ball?
Well, that's pretty much it. It is the final ball. It's that quality in the box that you need, and especially from the home side, Loudoun United. You know, if you're a player and you've had a look at the league table and you see you're up against Hartford Athletic, 10 games and just the 1 point, minus 19 goal difference. You've got to be looking at that team in white and saying, we're going to take them down today. And it hasn't happened so far. If you're the team in white, you're thinking, hang on a second, guys, we've got a US Open Cup win. We can turn our season around. We're 0-0 at halftime. Come on, let's go on and win this. So it's finally balanced. Let's see who wants it the most, and let's see who's got the ability. And hopefully we have a really good second half.
Well, that minus 19 goal differential might be the worst in the Eastern Conference. It's not the worst in the league, despite the fact that they've gotten just 1 point out of it. You get another look at what we're dealing with in terms of the weather here in DC. It feels like 91 out there, and that temperature has actually gone up since the start of this match. Tacoma Defiance, by the way, minus 26 on the goal differential this season. But you look to Loudoun, who are in the black today, and Hartford in the white. And Loudoun do have a couple of games in hand as they enter play today. They had only played 9, which is one of the fewest among some in this league who have already played 11.
Yep, but they need to win today against a struggling team.
Both sides will look for what could be that ultimate goal to give them 3 points. And it's a wide open contest here today, right out of the gate. Loudoun had a chance to push forward, right away cut out by Sem DeWitt, and a ball up ahead, getting in behind the defense before the flag went up.
He's comfortably offside, and again, you're looking down the line. You can see where the defenders are. You should not be caught offside. If you start your run and the ball doesn't come, you've got to stop that run quickly. I think it's Harry Schwartz again. He was caught offside just before halftime, who made the same criticism. So it's important to time your run so that you're not offside when you do receive the ball.
Hartford Athletic, who made 5 changes before today's game after their league loss last week. Those changes coming all over the field. From the back 4 to the top 2. We've seen Alex Dixon a lot for this team. He's taken more shots than anybody besides Mads Jorgensen. He's out as a potential substitute today. Chippy play in the midfield keeps it with Loudoun.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see a more fired up Loudoun second half. I'm sure Coach Richard Williams got stuck into them and gave them hell for not, for not being able to produce more in that first half. And he'll be saying to them, if you want to be in these playoff positions, you've got to earn that right. So I'd be very surprised if this team in black as a home side doesn't push the game, doesn't take it right up to Hartford and put the visitors under all sorts of pressure.
Well, last week, Loudoun went down 1-0 to Charlotte before. They were able to fuel the comeback, a 3-1 victory. That wonder strike, as you called it, by Connor Presley came just before the halftime whistle. And then 2 second-half goals. It was Noah Pilato right out of the gate and Shinya Kadono in the 58th minute to seal the win.
That's a fantastic comeback win, but they're playing a team that's way lower in the table, and that's why the expectation is from, I'm sure not just from the coach and the players, but from the fans watching, that this would be a comfortable win for Loudoun, and it hasn't been so far, which perhaps credit to Hartford for making it more difficult. But I think the coach will be looking at his own players and saying, Loudoun players, you need to perform, otherwise there's going to be changes for the next match.
Raymond Lee moving along the left side. Spins it back, looking for assistance. He can't find it, and that's a foul. Wojcik whistled for the foul on Presley.
Presley works hard, doesn't he? He's in the thick of it. He's a good defensive player. He's a good striker of the ball, as we mentioned a few times with that wonder goal against Charlotte Independence. And he certainly has put in a shift here today. It's not that the players haven't worked hard. One can't sort of pick them out and say they're not working hard. It's just their quality isn't that ball there. Their quality just isn't there for Loudoun.
Dahlgaard and Wojcik working well. Sebastian Dahlgaard gets it in, and again, that cross, that final effort in the third, just a bit too far over the crossbar, and nobody was able to play it.
Yep. Cross has got to give the striker a chance, and a cross is knocked out of play. is of no good to anyone. So good build-up play. We can give lots of kudos there. But again, the final ball just not quite there yet. The white shirts pushing up and making it difficult to play out from the back for Earl Edwards. So he's going to go the long route.
This game being played at Audi Field, a soccer-specific stadium in Buzzard Point in Washington, D.C. It's the home of D.C. United. It does seat 20,000, and they can fill this place up when the big squad comes to town. They were on the road in Houston this week. Suffered a 2-1 defeat despite Wayne Rooney scoring a goal.
That's something for these Loudoun players to aim for. They've got the route through DC United to play alongside the likes of a Wayne Rooney, and with Rooney's connections to maybe even head over to Europe. So it's all there for these players in black. They've just got to impress the manager and work their way up the system. And again, without sort of sounding too negative, I don't think Richard Williams there is going to be too impressed with what he's seen from his players so far. But maybe there's time and a chance to do something yet in this game.
Richie Williams talks about these players getting the opportunity to play here and wanting that thirst, that hunger, desire to get to this level and play at this stadium for the parent club. Loudoun expected to have a new stadium ready for their August 9th tie with Charlotte Independence. And because they've yet to play a game in their true home stadium, they've backloaded their schedule with 10 of the final 13 games at home. Here come Hartford. Left off for Raymond Lee. Whipped in by Dalgard, and a beautiful bicycle effort that just sails wide. Jose Angulo nearly had himself the goal of the week without question.
Goal of the week? That would have been goal of the season if that had hit the back of the net. That's a wonderful bicycle kick there from Jose Angulo. Wonderful timing, brilliant skills, good crossing. Let's have a look at it again. Yes, it doesn't hit target, but wow, good connection. I'll tell you what, that's not too far off. And some excitement for the crowd and everybody watching on TV.
That was not too far off. Whether you're a Loudoun supporter or a Hartford or just a supporter of this sport, you have to marvel at that effort. Here come Loudoun. Presley gets it into the box, and it's pushed clear. Game starting to open up a little bit. Harry Swartz drops it back for Angulo. The Colombian switching fields, too far for Dalgard.
Yeah, the game is likely to open up a little bit, especially if Loudoun do decide to push forward and commit one or two extra players to attack. That'll leave more gaps in midfield for Hartford to counter. And I think if you're the home side, you have to do that. If you're the home side in a better position, you have to be more positive. You have to take the game to the opposition and believe that you have the ability to score and the ability to defend any counterattacks.
Well, we talked about Angulo winning the Golden Boot in 2013, and that effort that we saw moments ago, perhaps we see why. Dalgard chests it forward, gets past the final line of defense, crosses it in, ball still loose and knocked out. Another opportunity for Hartford. They've come out in this second half much more aggressive.
They have. What a good chance that was, by the way. It's a lovely ball in from Dalgard, and he allows the attackers to sort of go for the ball, and two of them nearly getting on the end of it. It's just a perfect cross, just away from the keeper, between the defenders, and nobody can get their foot on it, and they still have the corner though.
Corner taken, Wojciech. Can't get his foot to it. Lee charged down, he gives it away.
That was a good little spell there from Hartford. That'll give them confidence. This really is turning out to be a tough match for Loudoun, a game in which they no doubt entered it thinking, come on, we're playing the team bottom of the table, 1 point from 30. This should be a cakewalk. It's anything but at the moment.
Pilato. Nicely dug out by DeVitt. That one lands near the corner. It's a throw-in.
The one thing that might come into play, especially in the last 10-15 minutes, is that Hartford had to run a lot in that first half, chasing the ball, closing down. You just might find that they start to get tired towards the end of this match.
And who can keep their legs? Both of these teams have a decent amount of experience. Loudoun is the younger team by far. Their legs perhaps a little bit more spry. Too far intended for Villatoro.
Mind you, in the Hartford side, there's only one player over 26 or 27 years of age, and that's Jose Angula, that I can see. The rest are all sort of early to mid-20s. They should be young enough to keep running. Come on. Yesterday, I think with Austin Bold, we had 6 players over 30 and a couple of them in 35s, 34s, and 35s.
Right, easier said from the former goalkeeper.
Yeah, he doesn't have to run.
Villatoro boxed in. Sinclair gets away from trouble, floats it into the box, and the header is just offline. Boy, how does Kyle Murphy miss the target from that distance?
That is the question. I don't know how he missed it from there. He's 6 yards out. He's got a free header. There's no defender on him. It's a lovely ball in from Sinclair. You have to score that. If you are Kyle Murphy, someone who's a good scorer, have a look. Sinclair's ball in. There's no one next to him. That's I don't know what he's done wrong, and I'm not sure he does. He's got an open goal in front of him, no defender on his shoulder, and he's missed the target completely. That's gonna, if they don't end up winning this, Loudoun, he's gonna have some sleepless nights, Kyle Murphy, after that.
Well, it feels like we've said this about 3 or 4 times, but stick that one in your back pocket. That might have been the chance of the day to this point. Hartford still have life. Here they come.
It certainly is the miss of the day. It's not going to get much worse misses than that. And it happens. It happens to any and every striker, even the best in the world. I'm sure it's happened to Messi and Ronaldo many, many times. But wow, but it's a bad miss nonetheless.
Lisek comes out to play his position well.
It's not like Kyle Murphy can say there was a defender on my shoulder or the keeper was coming out to punch it, or he was free, 6 yards out, middle of the box, the whole goal to aim for. Well, it happens to all strikers, even those who score good goals. And let's give Kyle Murphy the positives. 3 goals in 8 matches. He has scored some useful goals for Loudoun, and that wasn't one of them.
Well, you said it. Nobody has more goals than Murphy, or shots on goal. Foul committed by Hartford this time. Kyle Murphy is no stranger to the big moment. He won an ACC championship at Clemson. Had a goal in 16 appearances last year with San Antonio FC, and Richie Williams talks about how well he's able to play at the top and get in behind the back four. We saw it there a moment ago, but you've got to finish. About 15 minutes or so into this second half, and an opportunity for Hartford. Angulo's got the slot inside. It's Jose Angulo and a save. Angulo's second effort, and there it is. Hartford have struck first. They lead it 1-0 in the 58th minute.
Angulo, good finish. The coach is delighted as well. What a lovely build-up there from Hartford. And are we about to experience a shock and Hartford's first win of the season? Lovely counter-attack football by Hartford. And if there's one man you want to get the ball to, it is Jose Angulo. There he gets the ball. Keeper makes the first save. He's quick to react, chips it over the defender sliding in. not much more that Earl Edwards can do. He does make the block, but still great finish from Jose Angulo to get it over the two sliding in defenders. And wow, what a shock here. Hartford with 1 point out of 30 are 1-0 up against Loudoun.
It took until the 58th minute, but Jose Angulo nets his second goal of the season. He's the first member of the squad to get 2 goals this season. And perhaps he's given Hartford the lift that they need to secure their first win in their franchise's history here in USL Championship play.
And I don't want to pick on Kyle Murphy, but you've only got to go back 5 minutes to what should have been an absolute goal for Loudoun. And at least they wouldn't be losing at this stage. But he misses his chance. Jose Angulo takes his. And it's 1-0 to the visitors.
And they look hungry for more. Still plenty of time in this one. And if you're Hartford, you have to stay disciplined on the defensive side. We saw a pretty decent defensive effort in the first half. Worth noting that not only is Angulo the first player to reach 2 goals, Hartford have yet to score 2 goals in a match this season.
It's going to be a lot of firsts if Hartford keep this score going. And the biggest first of all, it's their first 3 points. And that's crucial because add a few more to that and suddenly you could be in a playoff position.
Here's Wojcik. Holds it up nicely. Out wide, Dahlgaard. Can't get to it.
Well, there's one thing we said about Jose Angulo, is that he shouldn't be too deep in defending. They need him in attack because he can score goals. Well, that's exactly the proof of it. It's players like that who are just naturally good finishers, wonderful ability to read situations and tuck the ball in the back of the net. You want them to be the ones to get the ball in the final third, and it couldn't have fallen to a better player from a Hartford perspective. And he tucked it away in style, the Colombian. And now it's over to Loudoun to respond.
Now you can get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for Loudoun United or Hartford Athletic and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus get reminders on your team's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Corner kick for Loudoun. It'll be Connor Presley to take it. Presley swings it out near the back post. Headed away twice. Angulo pushes it along for Jorgensen. Lovely flick. Wojcik. Looking along the near side, and he found his man. Dahlgaard chases it down. Here come Hartford again. Going to work on Villatoro. Dahlgaard can't curl this one down, but a decent effort.
Yeah, it's a decent effort. He cuts inside, but again, I'm looking at Jose Angulo. He's in the box. He's available. He's your natural goal scorer. Get the ball to him. It would have been a world-class goal to have scored from 25 yards out on an angle by Dahlgaard. I thought the better option was a pass to Angulo, but not to be. And I don't know if the referee is asking for a break or coming to speak to the goalkeeper. Maybe the football is coming to change the ball. Maybe there's something wrong with that.
Well, Coach Nielsen talked about with his team and this start, and we mentioned it in the first half, wanting to play in the opponent's half rather than their own. And here, they've been able to do a little bit more of that in the second half.
Yeah, they have. I mean, they've played the ball in their own half as well fairly comfortably, but I think what happened before was they were playing dangerous balls and getting dispossessed. Now they've been a bit more careful, a bit more selective, and they've pressed forward a bit more, and it's all resulted in them being 1-0 up. and in a great position to come and get their first 3 points.
Oh, and they're attacking with some fervor on the offensive side. Now playing that ball in their own half and a near turnover, and this is an own goal.
Oh my God, that is one of the worst own goals I've ever seen, because he tried to get it back and booted it way too hard, and it flew past his own goalkeeper, Jakub Lasik. And is that Nikolai Lunga that we're looking at, who knocked that back? What an unfortunate situation. Yes, it is.
Well, Jimmy Nielsen spoke about it earlier this week. He talked about the fact that Lingo has been good defensively, and there you see that it's just too hard intended for his keeper. He said that Lingo has been punished for his mistakes more than others on the team who have made similar mistakes, and this one might be the most costly this season. We're square at 1.
And yet, I've got to say, the goalkeeper could have used his hands. Yes, it would have resulted in a free kick, but if the ball's passing you, don't let the ball go into the net. You make the save, and then you take the indirect free kick there for handling a ball. But the goalkeeper, Jakub Lisic's, tried to use his foot and misjudged it, and it's gone in the back of the net. So you've also got to ask the question, could the keeper have done more there to make sure it didn't end up in his own net? Either way, this is a huge blow to Hartford when they started looking like they were going to get their first 3 points, and you score an own goal like that. That's heartbreaking.
Game on once again at Audi Field. My goodness.
Well, it was a quiet first half, but it's come to life in the second half. The Kyle Murphy miss from a few yards, and then a goal for the visitors from Angula, and now an own goal by Lunga. Wow. Lots for everyone to talk about.
Hartford has been criticized by their own manager for not playing a full 90 minutes. They played an hour of good football, and then one decision changes the course of this game.
Yeah, and Nikolai Lunga, he sort of lost possession of the ball, and that's why he had to lunge for it. So the initial first touch was bad, got him in trouble. He then lunges for it and hits it straight back towards his goalkeeper with way too much force. And then Lisic decides not to catch it, which would have been an indirect free kick, and instead try and use his foot, and it goes over his foot in the back of the net. So it was just a whole catalogue of errors, and unfortunate and even embarrassing errors. And when you're on the verge of maybe winning your first game, to have that happen to you, that's really tough.
We've still got just under a half an hour left to see how this one plays out. Raymond Lee across the pitch for Sem DeWitt. Long ball out of the reach of Dalgaard.
Now, if you're Loudoun, on the other hand, you're going, thank you very much, we'll take the gift. We haven't earned it, but we'll take it. And what's more, we're going to pile on the misery. You have to turn it to your advantage now if you're Loudoun. You know that the heads are going to drop for Hartford after that. And you've got to go and score a second and a third and put this one to bed. But what a gift to be given.
One in the midfield by Hartford. Lee again along the near side. Dalgaard flicks it ahead. Beautiful first touch. Sebastian Dalgaard, low cross. Angulo's got it on his left, and it's his second.
Brilliant, brilliant strike. Dalgaard doing so well again to get the ball in there. And we said, didn't we, give it to Angulo. He can score goals. And he finished that one off in such style, such a comfortable finish. Dalgaard again causing all sorts of problems on the left. And with his left foot there, Jose Angulo tucks it away. That is a fabulous, fabulous finish. And they're back in the lead. Hartford fans have got over the shock of their own goal. And they've got themselves back in front again. Well done to the visitors.
Well, I told you that Hartford hadn't scored more than 1 goal in any game this season. They've scored 3 today. 2 of them to their side. They lead it 2-1. And Jose Angulo is potentially on a hat trick here. He's got 2. And what a second half that we've seen so far, and it appears Sebastian Dahlgaard's day might be done.
Pity to take him off. He's been a real danger on that left-hand side. But you know what, we spoke at halftime about quality. Quality in the final third. There's no question that Jose Angulo is a quality player. I mean, you've seen twice now. Gets an opportunity, tucks it away. His accuracy is fantastic. And he's made Loudoun pay for giving up some space near their box.
So Jonathan Brown, the 28-year-old Welshman, will check in for Dahlgaard. Brown, who spent each of the last 2 years with OKC Energy, where Jimmy Nielsen was, he comes into the game. Dahlgaard leaves. Brown, number 17, who's played all over the world. Cardiff City with Wales, or in Wales, in Thailand, England. Now he comes on as a 69th minute substitution.
What, 20 minutes left for Loudoun. They're 2-1 down. They've been gifted an own goal, so they haven't done much, to be fair. The only goal they've got was the own goal, so if they want to win this game, they've got to do something themselves now. 2 goals they need to win this game in the last 20 minutes.
DeWitt boots it into the 10th row. Quick restart. 3 goals in this second half. Jose Angulo has accounted for 2 of them. Angulo in the 59th. Linga's own goal in the 64th, and then Angulo again in the 68th. Here's Sinclair, he drops it off. Murphy sails wide.
Murphy's got to try and hit target there. Maybe that's the difference between Kyle Murphy and Jose Angulo. Angulo gets 2 chances and tucks them away absolutely brilliantly. Kyle Murphy, there he misses target, doesn't even make the goalkeeper work. And early he had a fantastic opportunity, a header from a few yards out, and missed the target there as well. So for Kyle Murphy, it's not turning out to be his day. For Jose Angulo, wow, what an impact he has made.
I'm not sure what the ball is doing, but it's rolled off of the line twice as Lisek finally boots it away.
There's a little bit of a wind blowing behind the keeper that's causing difficulties with his goal kicks.
Loudoun has to be poised on the ball. Down a goal at home to the worst team in the USL. They're not playing like it today.
No, they certainly aren't. And if they win this, and it's a big if still with 18 minutes to go, if they win this, it's 2 wins back to back. And they'll start to believe that their season has turned around.
Fairforth building from the back. Connor Presley. Now Villatoro.
Nice football from Loudoun. But you've got to do something. You've got to get forward and start probing. Here we go.
All over the top, too strong for Sinclair. Substitution coming on now for Loudoun. Hilton Campos will replace Shinya Kodono.
We haven't seen much of Kodono, have we? Hasn't really had a big impact on this game. So we'll see what Campos can do.
Lee boots it up ahead. Doesn't stay in play. Hey fans, be sure to tune in on Wednesday, May 22nd at 8 Eastern for Wednesday Night Soccer on ESPN News. League newcomers Birmingham Legion FC welcome Nashville SC. It's the week's best match on the Game of the Week, Wednesday Night Soccer, May 22nd on ESPN News. For Hartford, if they get out of here with 3 points, Gary, they've got 4 straight home games coming up after this, so a chance perhaps to build on it.
Oh, absolutely. A chance to build on it with those home games, but with 15 minutes to go, this is a long way from being finished. And one gets the sense that Loudoun's going to keep putting the pressure on. This young man they built on, Milton Campos, just 18 years of age. Exciting to see what he can do.
They've got an Ottawa side that's hovering around the playoff marker. 14 points in 8 games played so far. Ottawa comes to town next. Then it's North Carolina, who are in 7th in the Eastern Conference, followed by St. Louis. That's a tough one. St. Louis up near the top, 3rd with 19 points. They're the best team amongst those who aren't named Tampa Bay and New York. And then they finish with Nashville. They're 4th in the table. So tough matchups, but perhaps the test in this game that can see, hey, there's a chance. We have the ability to win a game.
Sure. Well, let's wait and see if they win this one first, as they have their water break and much needed hydration. There's the coach, Jimmy Nielsen, really saying, let's push, 15 minutes to go. We're in a great position. Don't worry about the own goal. We're going to keep pushing forward. If you're on the other side, though, Richie Williams, what to be saying to your players, you haven't done anything so far. You haven't even scored a goal, to be fair. You've been given an own goal. We need to see more from you.
Yeah, and as for Loudoun, even though they've got the opportunity to play at home here, their road schedule does not let up anytime soon. We talked about how they'll finish the season with 10 of 13 at home, but 5 of the next 7 will be on the road at Swope Park, at the defending champs Louisville. Then home to Indy 11 and Atlanta United before another 3-game road trip into mid-July. St. Louis, North Carolina, and Indy again.
Well, tough games ahead for Loudoun, which is why playing the bottom team at home has to be a 3-pointer for them. And right now it's looking anything but that.
Nicely kept by Angulo. Pushed out wide. Jonathan Brown getting his first touch. Given away. Presley tripped up. No foul, just a throw in for Loudoun.
They've got to start getting not desperate, but very, very positive, Loudoun. They've got to be pushing forward, be more direct. The clock is ticking down, which suits Hartford, of course. And so there's no point playing the ball around too much. That's it. You've got to go forward, direct. And keep probing for any gaps in that Hartford defense.
Hartford content to let the play come to them. Here's Campos, the substitute. Plenty of space. Out wide, cut off by Lee. Now away goes Brown. Still going. Dangerous pass.
It was a risky pass, wasn't it? But you saw Jonathan Brown there, fresh legs. And that's what Hartford have to do, is get the ball to him as often as possible. Let him run at that Loudoun defense. And
bad giveaway. Angulo trying to make something of it. Here comes Martin. Left side Brown, not looking to get his cross in, content to sit on the ball. Say if you're Hartford at this point, some of these passes might be more dangerous than just trying to work your way towards goal.
They're just recycling the ball from one side to the other. A little bit of game management, you know, working down the clock while keeping possession, which is the right thing to do. It's a professional thing to do. And you certainly, if you'd have said to me, look at this match and told me that there's one team has only got 1 point from 30, I wouldn't have picked Hartford out as that team. I wouldn't have picked Loudoun either, but they're both good teams. It must be a head shaker for Jimmy Nielsen to try and figure out how his team has 1 from 30 points when they play this well.
Well, another substitute. This time it'll be Hartford, and we'll see Giuseppe Gentile come in. Wojcik had a strong showing up top, didn't get involved as much as he would have liked. A former Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year. In steps Gentile, who came on as a substitute in the 75th minute of last week's matchup against Memphis.
I think he set up one of the goals as well. Might be mistaken. I did see him make a pass for a goal recently, so he's a useful player and he's a fresh set of legs, and that's what they need. Here we go.
Well, Gentile running down the left side. He'll stop his run, and now he's well off sides, but he gets things started. 10 minutes and stoppage time to play. Hartford trying to hold on to this 2-1 lead and secure their first win in league play. Connor Presley, though, intercepts this pass. Gets a cross in, it's headed away from goal by Linga.
It's a good ball in by Connor Presley there, and possession lost by Hartford. You'll be very careful, give possession away in dangerous areas now. There's a set piece and it's risky, so you don't want to create pressure, and Connor Presley is always likely to put a good ball in the box. Well cleared in the end.
Away goes Gentile. He'll use his speed. Looking for Angulo, who's on a brace.
Just looking to keep possession. They know that clock is ticking down. And they're doing extremely well, Hartford. Controlling the ball, controlling the game. It's up to the black shirts of Loudoun to dispossess them. They haven't been able to do too much of that in the second half. They were better in the first half applying pressure. Not so good second half.
Second substitute expected for Loudoun shortly. Gentile with plenty of space in the midfield. Can't hit Angulo. Settled down on the far side. Hartford playing up, Gentile chasing after it. Loudoun will hold on before making a change, but we will have a substitution that sees Jose Angulo leave this game after scoring 2 goals and perhaps a pair of game winners in a sense. Ryan Williams will come on for him.
Yeah, he's been the star of the show, no question about that. Quality finishing, what the game was calling out for. It's a couple of chances, bang, bang, 2 goals. One spectacular overhead kick that wasn't too far away. And if they keep this man fit this season and they give him service, then I can't see Hartford being stuck at the bottom of the table. Surely they have to climb out of trouble sooner rather than later.
In comes Williams from Birkenhead, England. 24 appearances last year for San Antonio.
Birkenhead just outside Liverpool, so I guess he's a Liverpool fan, and if so, he'll be very happy with the way his team has been playing.
Never wise to assume, but I think in this case, right?
I mention it because you're a Liverpool fan, aren't you?
Well, with a Manchester United former goalkeeper in the booth, I'm not admitting to anything here.
Wise man. No, they've had a fantastic season, Liverpool, biased or not. So have Manchester City.
Can I ask you, you've seen the way the season has played out, as long as you're going in that direction. If you're a fan of that team, do you rather take the Premier League title, or are you content with Champions League?
Put it this way, if City and Liverpool could swap the Premier League and European Champions League, they would do so.
Both of them?
Yes, because City want Europe, Liverpool want the Premier League.
Maybe they can just trade the trophies afterwards.
If they could, they would. Look at this, white shirts push forward. They're not just going to kick the ball and then all defend. They're looking to hold it in the opponent's half, and that, again, is good game management by Hartford.
Still time for Loudoun.
There is, but not much of it. They're going to have to be fairly direct. Try and get that ball in the box.
Presley lost possession. Brown feeds it through. The new man, Williams. Martin.
It's all too comfortable. If you're a Loudoun fan, you're probably jumping up and down saying, close in, win the ball, tackle, there's only 5 minutes to go. You're the home side and you're 2-1 down. Just don't quite see enough aggression, enough desire from the home side.
Plenty of space pushed through, and Edwards will scoop it up.
Yeah, Harry Schwartz just trying to dink the ball through, just couldn't quite find somebody else in a white shirt there.
Presley kept it for a moment. Contact. Hartford has been on the ball better in the final 5 minutes or so, the most recent 5 minutes. Loudoun's been in control on the ball for most of this game. And now we're seeing this Hartford side really come to life.
Here we are. It's been their second half. The first half was the home side. But the second half, absolutely no question. It's Hartford's with the 2 goals they've scored, the unlucky own goal, and generally a decent control of the game. Who would have thought a team with 1 point out of 30 could come here against Loudoun and be on the verge of victory?
Well, and if it wasn't for the own goal that we saw hit the back of the net, perhaps Jacob Lissick would be looking at a clean sheet. Gentile has fields to run, and he's tripped up. Referee Eric Tattersall points to the spot where the free kick will be taken. All 3 subs already taken for Hartford, but Loudoun, they still have 2 to work with. We saw Campos come in.
Winding down the clock. Good run from Gentile. Draws the foul. That allows everybody to calm things down, take their time. And there's a substitution coming in as well.
Yep, and indeed Sandor Bustamante will replace the defender in Pivo Dewey. Trying to inject a little bit more offense. We saw a late goal yesterday in the USL Championship that resulted in a draw between the former side for Jimmy Nielsen, OKC, and Real Monarchs. It was at the 92-minute, 10-second mark of a 2-minute stoppage time, so anything can happen. Free kick taken, and Edwards had his post covered.
Yeah, decent strike. I thought they were actually aiming for the goalkeeper because 2 white shirts ran in as if the goalkeeper might drop it, but in the end, the shot wide of the target. Now, I'm waiting to see the desperation set in and the long balls knocked forward, and they're still playing nice soccer at this stage, Loudoun, but is it going to get them anywhere?
Effort sails wide by Sinclair.
Yeah, not with shots like that, it's not.
Here comes the final substitution. Kyle Davis will be the man to replace Andrew Loudoun. So all 6 subs used in this one, both sides emptying out their bench in essence.
Just thinking back to that Carl Murphy miss halfway through the second half. And we said at the time, if they draw or lose, he's going to have some sleepless nights, and that's the way it's looking at this moment. A goal that he should have scored and didn't. It's going to turn out to be very costly here today.
We're looking at approximately 5 minutes of stoppage time. We'll know officially in about 30 seconds. We had that hydration break earlier on what's been a hot day at Audi Field. The second half really heating things up as well.
I think it's going to be a hot locker room for Loudoun if they lose this one by 2-1. And I think Richie Williams could have a few angry words to say to his team. Not that they haven't tried, but they just haven't been able to produce anything of real quality as yet.
Murphy gets to it before DeWitt. 5 minutes indeed. Lee has to boot it clear. It's kept in. This time it was Bustamante whose shot never really had a chance.
Yeah, now we're getting some excitement. Now we're getting some pressure, and it's taken a fresh set of legs to get a decent effort nearly on target.
Jacob Lisek happy pushing everybody forward to send this one deep. Given away. Gentile is on the right side. He gets it. Gentile off of Edwards. Ball still loose in the box. Gentile will track it down. He'll just run to the corner. Why not?
Good play. That's the professional thing to do. And he's quick, isn't he?
Well done to win the corner.
Yeah, Gentile is quick and a decent strike. Well saved by Edwards. But he looks a very, very good player, Gentile. And I think he set up one of the goals in the US Open Cup win, now that I think back. And so, again, from a Hartford perspective, this game is turning out to be not just the first 3 points, but well played, controlled the game, good players coming off the bench. What odds Hartford actually do make the top 10 in the playoffs? That would be a surprise given their current situation.
Well, if they do, they can look back to this game and how it played out wildly in the second half and see this perhaps as the starting point to their season. Hard to look back at the first 10 games and pull many positives. But with their backs against the wall here in game number 11, they have risen to the test.
Gentile with a silly yellow card, just picked up the ball, took it away from where the throw-in was, and got yellow carded for it. You might think, well, if it saves 10 seconds, maybe it's worth it.
Campos keeps it in. DeWitt knocks it clear, not fully. Hartford goes home again to play 4 straight, starting with Ottawa next week. It's on the 25th. Presley into the corner with 2 on him.
Got to put the ball in the box, Loudoun. You can't score from out wide. You've got just over 2 minutes left. You can play pretty football as much as you want, but it's not going to help you score a goal. There we go.
An opportunity. DeWitt knocks down the effort again from Bustamante. 2 minutes to play. Pilato bumps it in. Nicely done by Hartford. They've got it now in control. A minimum of 90 seconds remain. Loudoun charges down the ball and they win it for Loudoun after this. 2 games on the road, but they've got a week off. They don't play until June 5th at Swope Park. And then 3 days later, they're at Louisville Slugger Field to take on the reigning champs. Pushed into the box too far for Campos. And a goal kick.
It's amazing for Hartford. In their first 10 games, just that 1 draw. And in the last 2, it looks like it's going to be 2 victories back to back. Who would have predicted that?
Jose Angulo is the man in this one for Hartford. Goals in the 59th and 68th minute. And that came with an own goal in between that knotted us up at 1. They just have to see this out for the final 30 seconds.
No question, man of the match. Angulo with his 2 goals, 2 quality strikes as well.
A performance that Jimmy Nielsen can be proud of?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They played really well, and even an unfortunate own goal hasn't cost them too much. And they've worked hard. I thought they might be tired by the end of it, but their fitness levels seem to be decent. And Loudoun just haven't been able to turn the screws on them at all, which, there you go, the coach is actually saying well done to the players during the match still. That's how happy he is, if you wanted an answer to your question.
Now with this kick, that might be it. Linga boots it clear. Gentile tracks it down in the corner. May as well take a crack towards goal. Why not? Williams, and it's knocked down. Got to go quickly. We're past the minimum of 5 minutes.
The white shirts get back. They're putting in a shift here. They really have worked hard. And their season has begun to turn around. And after this win, assuming it is a win, they can now maybe look forward to a good cup run and get themselves up the table into the playoff places. After a terrible, terrible start, maybe they're happy times ahead for Hartford Athletic.
Eric Tattersall has a look at his watch, and that's it. Hartford Athletic have their first win in league play here in the USL Championships 2019 season. They defeat Loudoun United on the road 2-1.
Yes, and the players are on their knees, some of those in white shirts. They really have put in a shift. Look at the coach. Jimmy Nielsen is chuffed to bits with that result because he knows that his whole season could turn around now. And there's some question marks for Loudoun. But there's the man of the moment. Absolutely brilliant, Jose Angulo.
Angulo, your man for Hartford, to grab the win. And when we come back, we'll wrap things up here from Audi Field. Full-time final from Audi Field. Hartford Athletic, they grabbed their first league win this season. Hey, they've won 2 games in a row if you count the U.S. Open Cup. It's a 2-1 victory over Loudoun United. And let's take a look back at...
Williams is going to have something to say to his players about that.
So Hartford comes out in the second half. They pick up the win, and they get their first win in league play. 3 points, now 4 on the season for them. And that's how we wrap things up from Audi Field. Well, that does it for us here. And for my broadcast partner, Gary Bailey, for our entire crew, Spencer Siegel, signing off. Final score in this one, it's Hartford Athletic 2, Loudoun United 1. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your Sunday. Good afternoon.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.